Nick Noman, how are you, man? What's going on?
Doing great, Mark. Glad to be here.
I'm super excited to get you on today and to be able to connect. For everyone listening, Nick Noman is here with us today. Nick, can you start off by giving us a little background on you and what you're doing right now, and then we can dive into some fun stuff from there.
Yeah, definitely. So have have been in the growth seat for quite a while, probably 12 years now. And 2011 came across Facebook and was curious of reaching people through a social media platform, and was lucky enough. Timing was on my side to be one of the first advertisers accepted onto the platform. I think I was like the first batch was like 500 uh, beta ad user.
Pre-Pixel days.
Pre pixel, um, yeah, pre newsfeed. They were just right hand. No, there was a newsfeed, but it was just right hand rail ads, and it was truly the wild west of advertising. Probably like very minimal algorithm to choose. Audience targeting was very primitive. And yeah, out of college, I wanted to join a startup. Felt like I could out of business school. I felt like I could learn the most from a startup. So I joined this startup called Roost. It was an online marketplace for socially responsible goods. So what we did is we took all of these really cool products that had some kind of social impact, environmental, community, um, type impacts, and put them all in one e-commerce shopping experience, our marketplace. And we used Facebook to really grow that business. So yeah, like I said before, it was like the days of just putting up an image, some copy, creating a landing page. One of my first tasks was they actually did have a pixel event, and it took me like a month of 40-hour weeks, 40-hour work weeks to like figure it out and set up all the Google Analytics tracking and
Pre-Shopify,
oh yeah, way before.
a lot of dev, super difficult to set up custom conversion events, right? Nothing standardized.
Yes. So yeah, spent like 3 months like just figuring all that out, and then just going super deep in the analytics, and it was cool being able to place ads in front of people. I thought that was interesting, but I found when you could actually see the campaign work like that and know that I'm spending $50 this hour and I'm getting $100 in that same hour. I thought that was just so cool. Um, so um, worked with that startup for I think like 3 years. I was the first employee there, um, and then after that, the company ended up not working out long term, but all of the vendors and then got sold to a company, and then and they didn't really do much with it, but all of the vendors from that company were like, hey, you like helped us with all of our marketing, even though that we were a marketplace. We supported a lot of them in their early days of like, hey, we're doing these paid ads and stuff, like we'll promote your brand through our brand. And a lot of these companies like really grew and exploded. So um, they then came to us and said, hey, can you do all of our marketing for us? Which was kind of cool. When the first company and like most startups don't don't work out, all the employees left and went off to do like go get another job. And I thought, it'd be really cool to like I'm in a good state in my career. I'm like 2 years out of college. I don't have much to lose. And I said, well, why don't I just like stick around after this thing? Like, what happens when a startup like dies, or what happens when a startup gets sold? For some weird reason, I was very interested in that and decided to stick around with the founder of that company because I knew that I would learn. I knew that even if I wasn't going to get paid as much as I could get paid somewhere else, I would. I felt like the experience would be interesting, and I felt like I would maybe uncover some like nuggets of knowledge through sticking through and like wrapping up a company after it's like had its time. And I, wow, that was probably one of the most impactful years of the growth journey for myself of learning what happens after like the final day of the startup. So yeah, then we
Yeah, you were down there for the whole like close, migration, sell of assets and everything, right?
yeah, that's not it's not the most fun experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the worst part, the worst phase of any business cycle, right?
Yeah, usually when the company dies or ends its stage or reformats or anything like that, it's kind of like the flock goes, the herd just moves on. Um, but most people don't get to experience like what happens like after they get their final paycheck from a company. Um, so got to see kind of the flip side of the final chapters of a startup, and got to see kind of like on the other side of the coin of like, okay, here's what you do in that space that I created for myself. It opened up opportunities to do marketing for some of our vendors for the through Ruse
The brands on the platform.
brands on the platforms, and they're all super cool companies that are doing great things for the environment, community, different causes. So there are products that you could like really get behind and promote. We found a subset of those being in the women's apparel space, uh, women's activewear. Did a lot of the early marketing for Tiki, Onzi, helped out with Manduka. Um, these are, I don't even know if I don't even know if Tiki still exists, but super bright, vibrant colors, like perfect for primitive Facebook ads. Just throw up a bright colored product.
They stand out in the feed. They're very viral, unique, something you wouldn't find at a Macy's or a Nordstrom's or a local boutique.
Yeah, people clicked on them, people signed up, and people bought them. So once we started getting clients in, I think it was like we got one yoga brand, and then we got Short Par 4, which was like our first like cornerstone project. Um, ran that for ran it like not as an official agency for probably a year, just kind of side hustling, and then turned it into a formal business, which is called Stealth Social, which then turned into Stealth Venture Labs. And Short Par 4 was one of the cornerstone clients for us. Still exists today. It's a golf apparel subscription where you go on finding golf apparel, especially for men. It can be a pain, and is very expensive. Usually buy it at pro shops. Um, Back then it was expensive. Now there's like cheaper Amazon type products, but the name brand stuff like Travis Matthews, Oakley, it's expensive.
It's pricey. Yeah, it was designer golf wear. Yeah.
Yeah, you spend. It needs to hold up in the golfing conditions, so it's made of expensive materials, and the brands charge a premium on it. So
And no one wants to look raggedy on the golf course. You're spending a lot of money to play there. You're with your buddies. You want to stand the part.
exactly. So we helped Short Par 4 kind of mold this idea and pivot their product to a subscription. Um, Subscription. I think like the early stages, it was like they would like be like a personal shopper for them. Just wasn't really scalable.
Yeah, I remember the early days of Short Bar 4 because this is when we were working together. And I think the original.
Yeah, so we're kind of like hitting the like time where then Mark me and Mark joined forces.
Yeah, yeah, and I was working at Stealth with Nick. Yeah, I remember when we were working on Short Par 4, and the original model was like Trunk Club for golfers, and it was like we'll send you a bunch of stuff, and then you send us back what you don't want, and just no real offer, not, it wasn't real any prop value. There wasn't like really any core value than like, we're going to send you some cool stuff and you can send back what you don't want. But, you know, the offer that you came up with, which was, and we tested out, like was just that front end offer for, for subscription was awesome and became such a pillar for so many other things that I remember Stealth was able to do, right?
Totally. Like the offer was, as you said, the offer was so key. I think when we, so I had a few clients, was running paid media for now a couple of years, and we always, the beautiful thing with paid social is that you can test things so quickly, and you can test offers, and you can test audiences and creative and positioning, things that you would,
Especially back then when the exchanges weren't filled with the amount of advertisers. I remember when you used to be able to launch an ad and like real time budget was enough. You set the ad set budget to like 20 to 50 bucks and you could get results. You could see if it was going to work or not. Now that same budget takes 3 to 500 a day and at least a week to really validate what's happening.
so yeah, Short Bar 4 was a cornerstone client. It really set the stage for subscription commerce, which has really been kind of the industry, direct to consumer subscription commerce um, has been kind of the vein that the lane that I've stuck in for the past 8 years. But yeah, we did some really great work. We helped them go from essentially, I think sub 500K per year to I don't even know the numbers today, but they grew rapidly. They have tens of thousands of subscribers, and um, yeah, it's a great product and service that we were able to be, really impactful in their growth with the tools that with the agency and tools that we used. Um, let's see another one. So that was like really cool because it was like from the ground up. We were able to like, and the partners were very like just go and run and try things, and that was awesome. The I guess another cornerstone client would be Home Chef, where we just that was like, wow, these things can really scale um, with the right offer, with the right team in place, the right like funding in place. So Home Chef came to us with like not even a pixel placed on the site. Or the pixel was all like broken, like conversion tracking wasn't in place. Like their campaign was just like they didn't know what they're doing. They didn't build out a marketing team yet. So they came to us and they were like, "Hey, we need your help." We looked at it like, "Wow, this is a really cool opportunity. Fits in the subscription space. Is a product that is a consumable, so it naturally fits more in the consumer space subscription business model.
Way higher LTV
Way higher LTVs.
than apparel fashion. Like how much stuff does someone need in their closet? But if someone's always going to eat 3 square meals 7 days a week.
Yep, yep. So they came to us and we had some success. Let's just say up to a certain CPA. Let's call it $100, right? Um, had some success, but was having a hard time scaling. They had some business funding. They had some different operational changes that improved margin, lifetime value extended over time. And they're like, oh, well, we can go from 100 to now hypothetically 150. And that gap between $100 CPA and $100 50 CPA was going from hypothetical numbers, say 20K per month to 3 million a month. So just that little gap in it's a pretty decent gap, 50% increase in CPA, but that gap allowed them to be the competitive force on Facebook and outbid everybody and scale um, in a time where these meal subscription plans were very, very popular and still are. So yeah, that was like a crazy growth account that we had, scaled them, spending 3 million per month during the peaks, and then they just went from like Series A, B, C, D, E, F, G to finally,
Yeah. You just kept on raising more rounds, getting more growth capital.
yeah, they grew. Eventually built a team fully in house, which we helped transition, and then sold to Kroger for um, good chunk of change. So at that point, I was like, wow, like I I now own some of these tools to like really make like you know build a business billion-dollar business, scale to billion-dollar type business. I have the tools to like kind of find product market fit with a variety of different accounts. So after running the agency for a while, and if any agency owners are on here listening, you can probably relate. Um, at times it could get a little bit stale. It doesn't feel like it's your own thing. Most agencies, you focus on like one pillar of the business. And for me, I really wanted to like touch different aspects of the business. Like if I wanted to change an offer, I wanted to be able to actually like implement that new offer. Or if I surveyed the customers and they wanted um, plain yoga pants versus crazy sparkly yoga pants, like I wanted to be able to like gather that information, then impact the product, which is the most important thing in marketing. The product that you.
Yeah, if you have a shitty product, you really are going to have the results are going to be the impact for it.
Especially now. I mean, you could get away with all these.
You get a lot away with a lot back then with those low CPAs and in CACs. But yeah, now I mean, customer acquisition is so competitive that if your product sucks, even if you can sell it on the front end, if you're not making money on the through LTV on the back end, then it's not really worth the time or energy to do it. Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of like had this burning desire to, and working with clients is can be draining. It could be draining. You have.
Mentally, emotionally.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is cool, but really want to be like more in like intimately involved with something of my own. Um, so kind of took the lessons that I learned and said, okay, let's try something. I had a lot of experience in the athletic wear space, and felt like that there was a business similar to Short Par 4, but for women's activewear, um, where you'd get a full complete outfit for, I think our entry offer was like $50 to get a full outfit. Apparel's very cheap. Apparel's very cheap to make, and if you don't sell if you don't sell luxury apparel in kind of the first go at it, buying already sold art, but ATS is like already like transacted inventory, or sale or something. I forget what the acronym is, but they would sell this at like nothing. So we were able to buy all of this stuff. So the concept was Yoga Club. Um, I created a website on Shopify. Took probably like an hour to create it, basic theme, parallax theme, plug some images in, and then went to Pinterest. I use Pinterest quite a lot to get inspiration from trending images and copy our industry type things. So I use a lot of tools, but Pinterest I kind of use a lot to understand what people are searching for, and what images are having high click through rates, because their algorithm organizes it by that. So I took the top. I just took the top. Typed in like crazy yoga pants. Illegally scraped that image. Maybe made some.
That was before it was like before people even.
Maybe made some like a mashup of a few of them.
Yeah, before it was like a photo shoot, that's going to take weeks or months.
Yeah, I was like, how can I like prove out a business concept in a week? So and then like kill it if it doesn't work, and then like go forward if it does. So yeah, hacked it together. Ran, took those Pinterest inspired images. Had the offer of, we tested a variety of offers, but the $50 for $100 worth of activewear, complete outfit was like by far the number one performing. And like these things, like big companies take like months and months and months and tens of thousands of dollars through these market research or like understanding what customers want. And it's like we did this with like a fraction. Yeah, it was probably like a $5,000 like ad test.
An idea, a meeting, a couple hours of implementation and setup, commit a little budget, and let the results speak for themselves, essentially, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like hacked this together in like probably 48 hours, and then built out the ad campaign, um, probably within a day, and set it live, had everything in place, and woke up the next morning with 100
Pretty cool.
over 100 orders on this fake business, completely fake. Like we just did the feature on Shopify where you get them to go through billing but don't capture their credit card information. Uh, so nobody was charged for this, but we were like, oh my god, we have something here. Um, and then spent like the next month like going through and apologizing to everybody, saying, "Hey, this is just like was a proof of concept. Like, give us 90 days to build this out, and we'll give you your first box for free." So yeah, that was the start of Yoga Club. Very soon knew that I wanted a CEO of the company. Um, I've always sat in the growth role and love sitting in the growth role, and brought somebody else in for the CEO, good friend Scott Yamano, and we just said, "Hey, we're going to raise money for this, and we're going to shoot for the moon. This is not going to be a little side hustle."
Not a scrappy backdoor garage startup thing. Let's put some money towards it and get it to work, right?
Yeah, it was like very binary. Like it was at the time where these companies were like, you raise money, that's what you do. Um, so we said, hey, let's raise some cash. Let's let's make it kind of a binary test, and let's try to scale this as much as we can. And we did that, which was pretty cool. Then we had some like hiccups like later down the line with. Let's go back a little bit. So yeah, we we were just growing like absolutely crazy. Like we had like thousands of people coming in, like new subscribers each month off of one pillar, really, Facebook. Um, and one lesson that I learned from this experience is that it's great when that pillar is working, but any ad buyers on here know like it's not always rosy, and Facebook is a great channel that you can scale up, but you can also be knocked down very quickly. That's because users don't have intent to buy your product. It's they are being persuaded to buy your product through advertising while they're doing something else disruptive.
They don't wake up in the morning. No one wakes up on Facebook and says, "Oh gosh darn, I can't wait to buy some stuff today." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't like it. So we got it to a point. Had some turbulence with fundraising. We grew so quickly, like we needed to raise. We were kind of hooked on this, like needing to raise more money because there was really no way. There was no like switching back. Like it's very hard once you have the DNA of a venture-backed, scale at all costs growth company to then say, "Oh, today actually let's change everything and make this like a profitable like um, business that we're going to run for the next 20 years, you know?"
Especially with subscription, which, has a natural churn. Obviously you can mitigate some of that churn, but there's only so much you can do. So, if you cut off the growth, then the churn's going to catch up. You're going to have some negative growth months, and right. So it's a business that's definitely addicted to growth. Yeah.
Yeah, we had so we built a full team out. We had probably like 20 people between full-time and contract workers, like Upworks type people that were like 20 hours a week with us. But we built a proper team, and we did some really cool things with data, really advanced things outside of just the shell of yoga apparel in a box. We built some very complex algorithms on predicting um, lead source tracking and understanding how much that lead was worth in a projected lifetime value after they filled out the quiz. So it was a quiz they filled out, like most like meal or fashion, like Stitch Fix. You fill out a quiz, bunch of different data points, and we were able to, with time, create a learning algorithm that would accurately project that person's lifetime value without having to wait. And then we were able to port that projected lifetime value number, and it was a learning algorithm. So then it like would just project it, timestamp it, and then over time understand if it was accurate or not accurate. And we tracked across pretty much every action that users could take. They went to the site, if they logged in, if they pressed pause, if they the questions that they filled out on the quiz, what zip code, IP address they're coming in from, what ad creatives they saw, like all of these different data source metrics. We're building this algorithm to understand projected lifetime value before we knew it. So that unlocked some serious growth because we were able to bid on CPAs uniquely based off the projected lifetime value with confidence, which was like X-ray vision. So that was one cool thing that we built.
And I'm curious with those like models, were you able to build direct lookalikes off of those specific users that were tagged? Throw that back into Facebook.
Oh yeah, yeah. So those were filtered back into Facebook in a variety of different ways before some of these data policies things. So we had like pixel events on every aspect of everything that a user did. We would send data back to the site, to Facebook. But yeah, we created an API directly within Facebook way before Facebook conversion API was like in place. We would save stored values of LT customer value ROAS campaigns, so we'd inject that projected lifetime value in as the value, so we would understand how users matured over time. We did some very interesting things with the idea of machine learning and apparel and the product itself. So we always felt like the customer always had the answer. And at the time, it was me, Scott, and Dave Palmer, all like data guys, low on the fashion score, high on the analytical score. So we're like, why not just like we're not going to be able to. We did have like designers and stuff on the team as well, but we're like, why don't we just let the data tell us what different what the customers want? So we utilized a lot of this like complex data surveying. So customers would fill out surveys before they would get the product, or before we would make like inventory buys. Anybody listening here that has physical inventory knows it's a pain. It's if you make bad decisions on buying, it could tank your e-commerce business very quickly. And we wanted to like mitigate that risk as much as possible. So we implemented things like Trendsetter Survey, which would take all the past performing outfits. We would generate new ideas, lots of new ideas. When you're buying apparel, you can get samples very quickly and easily. But when you're buying the thousands of unit run, that takes 3-4 months. So we're like, why don't we just like throw up like 50 examples of products or outfits and then have customers rate them, and then we could understand what customers like and why they like these different outfits and be very smart with their buying, to mitigate risk, but then also like to create a stronger sense of connection between the brand and the consumer because we're listening. And if you voted for an outfit and then we made that outfit, like, wow, that's cool. You can actually get that. You can get it. So that was some cool stuff we built. We kept on scaling, had really, really tough time fundraising. Anybody out there that is going through fundraising process, like wish you strength through that process because it's not fun. It's backbreaking work and it's very hard to get kicked down multiple times and keep going at it. So yeah, we had a hard time fundraising and we were growing like crazy. So we had this like we needed funds to support the growth. If we stop the growth, then like the ship is gonna go in the wrong direction. And that's like a lot of these like venture-backed companies, like how they survive is that you just grow so rapidly that it's a necessity to raise money. So had some hiccups with fundraising, and then eventually had to kind of not wind the business down, but reorganize the business a little bit to like find a new owner of the company. Ended up selling the company, and then same thing. My sick and twisted personality, I don't know why, but I decided to stick around again through that. So saw another company at like kind of its like transition stage. not able to get venture funding, going through like new ownership, going through the sale process. Also not a fun time, but very valuable from an education point of view. So if anybody out there has a chance to do that, know that it it does get it does get brighter, even though it could seem very dark during those times. Um, so yeah, stayed on for a year, and the company sold again after the year. So lots of transition. iOS was very hard. COVID was hard, not due to the demand for activewear because it went up, but just due to like shipping and complexities there. But yeah, we were able to like stabilize the business, and then a new buyer came along, and then I was like, I am completely done and ready to start something new or be involved with something new. So my current project is a thing that I focus most of my time on is a company called We Feed Raw, where I'm the CMO of. We're able to assemble some of the same team from Yogaclub over, kind of pick up some of the pieces from the Yogaclub team um, through people that were either let go during the transition or downsized. So working with some of the same people, which is always great. Having a team that you can trust and having shared work experiences across multiple different projects is like so priceless.
Yeah.
Um,
You take those battle wounds in that experience of going to war together to a new business, right?
exactly.
Understand how people work. You can work a lot faster versus having to re-engineer the way everyone thinks and the processes internally. Yeah.
Yeah, so new project is We Feed Raw. It's a better for you raw dog food. Um, Very similar back end mechanisms as Yoga Club or Short Par 4 or some of these other companies I've been involved in. User fills out a quiz, in this case about their dog. Fortunately, I don't have a dog, so I haven't been able to try the product for dog food or women's activewear. um, but yeah, you fill out the pet quiz. We collect all that information, store it in all the places we can, um, making very complex data models on these customer inputs and predictive analysis for those inputs. Then we create a meal plan for the pet based on the caloric needs or the dog. We're only dogs now. We used to do cats, but we're only dogs now. Um, so yeah, and then they're kind of in like a meal plan, just like a meal delivery. We ship 100% frozen warehouse, ships dry ice. We've had very rapid growth this year, and our market leader in the raw food space. There's some giants in the fresh food space, but the company is We Feed Raw, wefeedraw.com, and yeah, it's comparing the
So would like what is it
yeah
called? Farmer's dog or something like that be considered
yeah
like the fresh food space?
fresh food
Yeah.
space, and this is like completely raw. We go through a pretty intense process of being USDA approved, human grade. It has to be run through a cold pressure processing to make sure that it's safe when it arrives, so there's no pathogens and stuff when it defrosts. Yeah, but pet parents love it. There's a few different like reasons why this product exists. One,
Well, that's how dogs should be eating in the first place, right?
yeah,
That's the most organic form is raw food.
yeah. Kibble, it's like I wouldn't feed my kids
Yeah.
goldfish, I'd feed them like full, complete, balanced meals. So it's kind of similar, feeding your dog kind of very highly processed, not so good ingredients. And a lot of dogs suffer from being on those types of diets. If it's digestive issues, if it's joint pain, if it's their fur is falling out, if they're not interested in the food. Um, so from a marketing point of view, we really play on these types of pain point and like why our product solves for those pain points. And when choosing this new venture compared to Yoga Club was I wanted a must. One of my things I needed in my new venture is it needed to be a must have product, and it needed to like and it needed to be like a consumable product because I was always planning on staying in the subscription space because, as Mark you mentioned earlier, it's like if you can extend lifetime value,
I know. It's
the world is your like you have so much room. You have if you have a product that you can maintain a relationship with the customer and get paid year over year over year, your CPA increases. And like the Home Chef example, like if you're at $100 CPA and it's not competitive, and somebody's beating you just a little bit, you're not going to get any of that volume. But if you have the room to go up to 150, 200 hypothetical examples, that could open up serious volume.
yeah, it's a game changer. I actually heard, I think I was listening to Taylor Holiday's podcast the other day. I think that's where I heard this. But the premise was when a SaaS company acquires a new customer, on day one, that customer is exponentially more valuable to the SaaS business in the future because they know a guarantee what the LTV is going to be. It's sticky. The fulfillment on it is SaaS. So it's really hosting, it's some management, it's some support, but ultimately high margin, sticky, right product. People are going to use it for years. With e-commerce, it's the complete opposite. Day one, that customer, after day one, that customer becomes way less valuable over time just because of the nature of the business. You know, if you're an e-com business and you have good growth and you've got a 20 to 30% repeat purchase rate, that's really, really good. You know, and most brands are built around physical products, right? Whether it's cookware, yoga pants, whatever it is, and how much stuff do you need before your house is filled? You know, versus a consumable, which the right consumable, people use the same soap for years. They use the same, you know, they eat the same food. They do the same thing. So I think you're spot on. Is like having a consumable in a niche like the dog space, which I'm assuming it's not that easy to just wake up one day and be like, oh, we're going to sell raw dog food. It's not like someone's going to go on Alibaba and find a raw dog food supplier,
Yeah,
right?
the
And if
barrier
they do,
to
you probably don't want to be buying it from them. But it seems,
yeah, the barrier
yeah,
to entry and the risk of being a small player is really high. Um, and luckily, I was able to. This company existed. It is has financial backing. Like this is a very hard company to start from day one.
you need infrastructure support, supply chain.
Yeah, it's a very hard company to start from day one, but it's been a very fun company to go from infrastructure setup to like maybe not 0 to 1 yet, but you know the 0 to 1 concept of finding true product market fit, price market fit, channel market fit, um, and seeing these like cohorts of customers just staying on for a long time. Um, Shows that it's people like this type of business, and it's fun working for a yeah. I don't have a dog now. I have 2 kids now, but definitely a dog lover.
Yeah.
Charles loves me.
Yep. Yep. Charles loved you. Yeah, he still loves you. Yeah. For everyone out there, Charles is my husky. Nick and we lived in almost, I wouldn't call it a hacker house, but it was a bunch of bros living together. We became lifetime friends, and my dog was one of our roommates. So those were good old days on off of Harper.
So what are your points to e-commerce? Is this is why e-commerce is really hard. Is you have your 2 biggest expenses are negative cash flow expenses on day one, unless you have like a really amazing terms. But if you start a e-commerce business, you put your credit card down on Facebook and you got to pay every time you hit $900, right? Um, that's pretty bad cash flow.
Not only that, but buying physical goods
Yeah, and then you have buying,
and doing buys months in advance, doing it offshore,
and then you have a negative cash flow on buying inventory in advance.
especially when you're starting up. No one's going to offer you terms, unless you have a pre-existing relationship with the supplier.
So that's why e-commerce businesses are really hard. And the way to make e-com work is that either your CPA is so low that you profit on your first customer, and you have enough extra cash flow. There has to be that extra cash flow when you're starting to then go buy inventory for growth. If you are in a scenario where your CPA doesn't cash flow on your first order, it creates a really hard just mathematical formula of not being able to grow. Like you essentially can't grow.
You're going underwater after day one to just try to get back on the surface.
And repeat purchase rate is not so great. Industry average on ecom. Only very few brands like truly hit that um, multiple repeat purchase rate, and that repeat purchase rate could be a very long window. Like maybe your customers only buy your product once a year. So if you're negative on that customer based on your customer
Yeah.
acquisition cost and your margin, you have to wait a whole year of holding that negative cash to then um, maybe they come back again.
Yep.
It creates a lot of issues in as CPAs have risen, as margins have tightened, as prices has increased, as conversion rate drops.
Tracking's become more challenging just in general to really understand what cohorts
Exactly.
in your campaigns are actually performing.
As consumers macro shift and buy less stuff in the next little bit, it's going to squeeze a lot of these e-commerce brands out, and it's going to really force e-commerce companies to be like have a really great product that either have really good margins because it's a great product, so you can cash flow, or um, you just have really good lifetime value.
Totally. Or a mix of you also own your own media,
Yeah,
which I think is a big one. And I think that's why so many celebrity backed brands have had such success, because if you can launch on day one
exactly.
and you're not forking out that credit card to Facebook, every time $900 forks over, that free media is priceless when it comes to cash flow and growing the business over time.
Yeah. Or like what I recommend for ecom operators that are just starting, it's like don't go directly to Facebook. Like maybe use it or these are any social media tools or paid search tools. It's like maybe utilize those tools to understand some really important things about your customers because you're going to get ROI off of that. Like what messages do they respond to? Like test a few value props very quickly. Test different offers. Test those things on those channels, and even if you don't convert anybody, like you still know like what ads are getting like high click-through rates and what audiences are working, and there's just a wealth of data just from a small investment in understanding what people want and what they don't want, and like build your product and try to like get your product to sell without advertising first, because advertising is really only going to help great products in my opinion, and if you can't figure out that product market fit, um, you could get in dangerous waters by just trying to have these channels like save the day.
And if it's challenging to convert organically, regardless, it's going to be way more challenging to convert through ads when you're trying to stuff it down someone's throat. That actually brings up a good point. What channels would you recommend that people focus on organically? Is it earned media? Is it PR? Like, what would you recommend people do to more or less try to prove an offer or a product before they go to paid?
So if you're in that product market fit stage, SEO does take a while, and you might rank for key terms that don't really like bring qualified customers to your type of business. Uh, to start, like I said, I would if I was starting an e-commerce brand tomorrow, I would spend a little bit of money in doing the research on the paid social channels, using it not as an acquisition channel, but using it as a market research tool. Proofs of concept, see what offers people are resonating with, seeing what products, maybe test a few different products. I think young entrepreneurs get like stuck to like one idea, and it's hard to change it after they're like stuck on something. But like we live in a world where you can try five different ideas and pick the one that works the best. Like that's not against the rules. You don't have to like have a
For sure.
like baked out idea to start a business. Um, you can definitely still be in that testing phase, or like maybe an iteration on your idea works better. We sold hula hoops for a long time, like travel hula hoops. I think Mark
Hula hoops. Remember the DVDs, the whole workout series. Yeah. It's interesting. I say too, Nick, like if I was going to if I had some niche that I'm super passionate about, I tell people all the time now when they ask, what would you do? I'm like, I would just start a YouTube channel. I would build myself up as a personality in that niche and be the expert on it. And when I look at like a lot of brands that are super successful, like one of my favorite brands right now is a brand called Heart and Soil, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but is it's Paul Salandino with Carnivore MD, and they've built an insane community around selling it, essentially freeze dried, um, you know, animal based supplements, and people love them. They have incredible reviews, and they've built that whole community off of generating YouTube content about the carnivore lifestyle and interviewing
Yeah,
people about
that's
it.
yeah,
So
organically like it very much depends on the product. Like first, like is your product does somebody like
yeah,
your example, does somebody wake up in the morning and like, oh, I need this something today? Does this like raw dog food is something that actually people search for, right? Like there's search intent.
and it's also a new mechanism. Like it's something that someone's never gotten an ad for,
Exactly.
which I think is unique too. When you're first to market with that unique mechanism and offer, it's something like you go back to yoga pants. Remember when no one was selling bright, crazy, neon colored yoga pants? It's like, I've never seen these before. When you're new on a platform with a new offer, a new product, I think there's a huge opportunity there.
So like back to your like organic question, if you don't have a ton of money, like that's okay. That's actually like that actually could be a benefit versus like say you go through Y Combinator, then you're like, okay, now I have several $1 million to like deploy. Like you might miss that like very like um, important like learning phase of your business, or your product market fit and then channel market fit. So I would ask like, is this a product that somebody's already searching for? Like, is it a beanie or like, or is it like a sweatshirt? Like people searching for this that they need, or like raw dog food. People actually search for dog food. People search that online. Um, like then I would think about, okay, how can I put my organic message to some things like SEO, YouTube, places where people are searching for that thing, right? YouTube we do very well organically on, because a lot of people are searching for We Feed Raw because it's an education product. So people need to be like very educated, and they go down the rabbit hole of raw feeding, about their dog and spend hours learning about the competitors and doing that education.
Is it safe? What should they eat? Yeah, absolutely.
Is it safe? Like, how is it going to ship to me? Like, how much am I in for each month?
Yeah.
Like what are the benefits of it versus all the nuances? So people like really spend the time and hours of researching this. Can I do this on my own? Um, like, why?
Is it safe to do it on my own?
Yeah, why is kibble so bad? Like, if your dog has a particular allergy, like then you go down the rabbit hole of different allergies and why they have allergies, and so you have to like really think about your product in particular and like where are those people, are they searching for it, or are they just like, is this crazy new product that nobody's ever heard about and they need to like be disturbed on a channel, right? That's like the first thing. So then there's organic sources for each of those. um, YouTube for like search, yeah, social, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. for social. Pinterest is probably more search tool than anything, but um, YouTube Shorts, I think, is like if your product like fits well with it in education, if people need to be educated on your product and like to be educated on your product, if there's content to talk about, if there's questions to answer about your product, or service or industry, I think YouTube Shorts is like totally like new frontier. Um, I had like
Are you guys making a lot of YouTube content organically for the brand?
Yeah, we do some of our own organic content. We also lean on influencers that we send like free product to and then repurpose their content for our organic usage. But it's all like question answer, because when you go into YouTube and most people go in there to like learn things. So when you type in a question, you're like understand what those questions are. There's plenty of tools out there like Ahrefs where you can see all the questions that people are asking about your particular category or SEMrush. Understand what are the questions people are asking, and then find those platforms. If they're asking a question, it's probably YouTube, writing blog content around it. Um, if it's a discovery product like this heart and soil supplements, like probably in the early stages, like not many people were like searching for like beef organ supplements,
Totally.
because people didn't know. Like there had to be some education, but
Yeah.
um, so like really smart strategy for them is like go out to all the people that out there that are talking about this stuff already and like plug the product for influencers because this product like ours there's lots of similarities. It's like there's health risks. Like, does this actually like improve it, or I'm just wasting a bunch of money on another like supplement?
You know, it's actually a really good idea for you through ads, Nick. If you take a look at their paid social ads just in, Facebook ads library, they have people on their team that read reviews. And it's so simple, but it could be an idea for you. I think it works really well for this consumable niche, supplement niche, where it's like, hey, it's Mark and I'm with We Feed Raw, and today I'm going to read you a review from Janet, who has a 5-year-old husky in West Virginia. Hey, it's Janet, and just read the review. It's interesting. It brings it to life. Yeah. Yeah. Another idea too it's another thing that we've been working on with some of our clients is I don't know if you're familiar with Video Ask, but it's a tool that's part of Typeform's platform. And essentially, like, let's say you send an NPS score, a promoter score, like to someone and they score a 10 out of 10 on it, right? They're like, we love this product. You can then send them another follow up that's like, hey, could you give us a video testimonial about how the products changed your life? We're also going to send you a free gift in the mail if you send us one. And Video Ask makes it really easy to just get someone to record a video directly through a browser on their phone or desktop. So directly to their camera and their phone. Yeah. So pretty cool. We've been working on that with a couple clients right now in the supplement space to help them build it out. Just get some more social proof.
Love that. I'm sending it on
Yeah.
my marketing Slack channel right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've used Typeform for so we've pushed the
You
limits.
push the limits on Typeform. Yeah.
I'm very familiar with their for their APIs. Their
For sure. For sure. Yeah. The API integration. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah, we did some really cool stuff with Typeform,
That's awesome.
but definitely hit their limitations.
I'm curious, are you guys built on Shopify? Are you guys in Plus or another platform?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the when the user goes through the quiz, um, there is a very complicated formula that is computed to every dog has its own custom meal plan because of if the dog is spayed or not spayed, male or female, how old the dog is, how active the dog is.
There's a lot of parameters in that survey, right? That affect everything.
Yeah, there's call it 2,000
Wow.
different combinations. There's different proteins.
So 2,000 different combos of food that you guys are actually, so technically you guys have like 2,000 different products out there, right? In combos.
Yeah, there's 2,000 different like combinations um, of the products that we ship. There's 6 different proteins. Customers can. There's 2 different type. There's small packets, large packets, small, medium, large packets. So if they're a small dog, they'll get smaller packets. If they're a big dog, they get big packets. Um, the the machine learning will also plug into our 3PL, so we'll match them with a box that is actually economical to ship. It's shipped frozen with dry ice, ain't cheap, right? So if you ship
Yeah, I'm assuming very expensive. Yeah.
so if you ship a small amount of food in a big box, it causes, it's you're losing money on that order. So there's a lot of sophistication that we're building out with putting them into one of those 2,000 buckets, and so the customer experience great, margin stays great, lifetime value stays great. So those things are hard to do on Shopify. Um, so our, I guess, front end is all custom built, um, and then like I said, we store all and similar with Yogaclub. A lot of front end stuff was custom built because we were doing all this complex matching to different outfits and stuff. We use Chargebee. Sorry, Recharge, but we're using Chargebee
Yeah.
for this brand. Just has more capability for recurring billing platform.
So that's actually your back end billing CMS.
Yep. And then it also, because we love
Oh,
Shopify
got it.
so much, it also will make a record on Shopify. So Shopify is also a source of truth. You can call it headless. Um,
So what's the front end built on? Is it in Webflow or?
no, it's fully custom built, fully custom front end.
So you guys are still using Shopify as like e-commerce engine, Chargebee for for billing, and then custom front end, right? Everything kind of ties together.
Yep. So users don't check out on Shopify. Majority of people are in the subscription, and this is like when you have a subscription business, you want to like keep them focused on that and not,
For sure. You don't want to get people distracted.
yeah, you want like the
No shiny object syndrome when it comes through.
exactly. So you want to get them through the funnel. You want them to see subscription as the main thing. Um, but because of the power of Shopify and all of the tools that it plugs into, syncing with Klaviyo, uh, um, syncing with deep data tools that we use, syncing with different retention tools, syncing with like stamped and review tool. Like there's just, you guys know this. There's tons of apps and stuff that you can just press a button and then you don't have to build out yourself. So um, yeah, it took quite a while to like architect those three pieces together, but we're definitely benefiting from having like Shopify record, utilizing Chargebee's capabilities. Uh, Nothing against Recharge. Love the Recharge guys. Have put tons of companies into that platform. We're probably
Yeah, we were working with them since they were bootstrap heroes back in the day.
yeah, we were working with Oshin. Yeah, we were working with Oshin when he had like probably 10 clients. Uh, yeah, what a great story and business that they created.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, like things have been things are great. Like it's nice being a part of a team versus like being like full on founder of a company.
Totally. And you get a lead. You get a lead and you get capital and access to a lot of these resources, right?
Yeah, totally. So definitely learned a lot from both being an agency operator, running a business for a product that isn't necessarily a must have in a world where you in order to scale to where we needed to go, you need a must have product. Um, and yeah, and the team that we've built is just awesome. We were able to create and um, push the boundaries definitely on a lot of these things that are outside of the consumer facing product. Like we're creating products within the business that could be their own SaaS product standalone, that nobody else has because we don't have you just can't buy some of these things off the shelf. So that's super exciting too.
And it's challenging. Like just if you're a carnivore and you want human grade like organs, meat to just eat on your own, there's very few places you're going to find that regardless. So to be able to, nor is it cheap. So to buy it for your dog is definitely you're going to have a very very you're going to be spending a lot of money on that regardless. So yeah, I think what you guys are building is awesome, and I can't wait to see where you guys are at in another year, 2, 3 years. What are you to wrap up because I know we're going a little over, but what are you most excited about for next year when it comes to e-commerce? Either different platforms, tools, different things that you guys are working on that you see, like what do you see is going to be happening with e-commerce like over the next 12 months?
I haven't been, let's say, I've been faithful to Facebook. Um, I feel like we're going to enter into a little bit of a golden age on Facebook again. We're seeing tremendous results on Facebook, by far our best performing platform and scaling like just crazy right now. I feel like the news and media has bashed Facebook a lot. A lot of advertisers are starting to leave the platform, but the user base is slowly growing. I think we have another few years of really good times on Facebook because it's an auction system. So if unless you're advertise if you're advertising product to really young people, under 30, under 25 maybe, I think Facebook is still an extremely powerful tool. I'm very excited about YouTube, um, because if your product has search intent, there's lots of really cool things that you can do if you know the nuances of YouTube and pairing that with paid search and display. Um, User sees video, users interacts with certain video. In our case, like segmenting different pieces of content for the pain point that the end consumer has. So serving allergy, the dog has allergy. You can serve a ton of content to them on YouTube, and if they watch all of the ads, you know that they're in market now, right? Then you can serve them across.
Yeah. You can really niche down like what is the pain and the problem, and then present the offer to that person with that pain problem solution.
Totally. I'm I'm excited about Facebook, especially for our product. I'm excited about YouTube and unlocking the growth there. YouTube Shorts, if like talking about organic opportunity, like that is a
Yeah.
gold mine right now.
Just insane growth right now, and just free eyeballs and views. Yeah.
I think the new consumers made by new consumers coming in are going to call it the 18-year-olds today are going to bypass the Facebook and Instagrams of the world and go find their new platforms. But I think we have a long time before people start like abandoning Facebook and Instagram at a high rate. Um, Also, like when you're managing a team, it's like you have to stay super focused. You can't juggle like 10 different channels. Like you can try things out, but like if you're doing Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, all these different things, you're just gonna, from my experience, you're gonna do,
You're gonna burn everyone out. You're not gonna be able to be like 10x on each platform, right?
yeah, you'll be like okay across a lot of platforms. And these days, you need to be like really great at you need to be really great at one. So
You know what I wanted to mention to you too, and speaking of like trying to be on every platform or trying to be omnichannel and doing a million things, did you hear about the Wink bankruptcy?
I kind of figured it was coming.
Yeah, I was just reading about that last week. They went bankrupt, and when I think about Wink, I mean, I remember when they were the D2C darling of LA 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And then they just kind of like, you're just, where did Wink go? And at the same time, they were trying to do a million things. And I think completely forgot about their core business, which was subscription commerce for, in the first place. So
Yeah, they started to, I mean, you know, because you were in the wine industry before, but they started to do private label stuff and
private labels sell into Trader Joe's, like, and all these other retails. And versus, I thought their model from the beginning was very, very great, which was very similar to what you had, full feedback loop. It was designing cool labels and making cool wines, having a badass team of winemakers, and then taking the feedback from what customers were saying to make better product. So yeah. When I saw that, I remember I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, they were doing that. I don't know if you ever saw, but they ran a crowdfunding campaign and they're running ads for it aggressively. Like, invest into this round. And I think they raised like 4 or 5 million bucks. And then that obviously went public.
yeah, typically that, I don't know, a lot of times, I mean, we did that with Yogaclub when we needed cash. It's usually like uh, desperation
Yeah,
because if you have a good business and it's growing and metrics are solid, um, it's easier to find the money. And if you can't
for
find the
sure.
money, then you go into these crowdsourced platforms to because it sounds great, right? Throw it up. You don't have to talk to anybody, and money will come in. But
Yeah.
a lot of times it's kind of too good to be true, or
If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good.
they're yeah. But I'm very optimistic about the future. I think that brand marketers have to be really sharp. You can't just like rely on um, you know bid optimization strategy or like finding a like growth hack to like make a business grow at least to you know
There's only so much financial engineering you can do in the back end of ads manager before you need a really good product, you need a good experience, and you need to connect with customers. Yeah.
we spend a lot of time on creative and like if you can pump Facebook with or any of these platforms with like really really awesome creative like that's all it needs you know
It needs the right, yeah, absolutely.
great product great product a high enough CPA that you can actually make money on and back out
A good offer.
and good offer and like great creative like if you put it up like it's not like
You're totally right. And one thing that we've been working on more for our clients, we still have like a half dozen clients we run paid for, is just making those short form like product focused videos that are like problem, solution, offer, zero risk. combining those things together, it's almost like turning an advertorial into a video now. It's almost like a short form video sales letter, for products.
Yeah, a whole other probably a
Yeah.
whole other hour conversation is on AI
Oh my
writing
God.
bots
Yeah.
and how those are how we're utilizing those with our content marketing ecosystem and ad ecosystem. Jasper, yeah, boss mode, Jasper boss mode,
Jasper Boss Mode.
yeah.
Love it.
We've been doing some really cool stuff with multivariate testing and trying just to push the limits on that and yeah, organic. I mean, talk about organic. I don't know if Google will ever be able to like track if it's AI written, but um, it's pretty awesome. You can write tons of blog posts within. I'm a horrible writer, and I could write a pretty awesome blog post within say 5 minutes.
I'm gonna send you like after this, I'll send you this podcast. I was listening to My First Millions. Have you heard of My First Million? It's a podcast it's in the HubSpot network. The founder of the Hustle,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then his partner Sean Perry they co-host it. They did an episode yesterday talking about like different AI and how you can have full-on conversations with someone in history. Like you can have or you can have a full-on conversation with Elon Musk and ask him questions and he'll give you these strategic answers. Or you can ask Michelangelo or like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
As long as there's enough written content on the web about them or from them, you can do that.
yeah, pretty cool. Well, Nick, I know we've gone over today, but dude, it was amazing having you on. And if anyone wants to connect with you, is there any way people could connect or see you? Are you on any of the socials?
I don't check I kind of fly under the radar a bit. You can message me at nick@wefeedraw.com. Probably the best
Cool.
way to reach me. I'll be on that project for a couple years, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, I'm stoked to see how things go. And dude, it's you're one of my best friends in the industry, and I'm so happy to hear what you're doing. And thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, hopefully this was
Yeah.
got some nuggets for everybody.
See ya.
Yeah, take care. Bye, Mark.